Mic check, 1, 2, test, test. Check, 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 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2. Check, check, 1, 2, test, test, 1, 2, 3. Check, 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 test, test. Test, test, 1, 2, 3, check, check. Mic check, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, test, test, test. Check, check, check. Check, check, testing, 1, 2, testing, 1, 2, 3, check, check. All right.
Chapman University has 1 minute left in the field. 1 minute. NCAA sponsors 90 national championships in 24 sports across 3 divisions each year. For more information or to find a championship near you, visit ncaa.com.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mike McBride with you live at Ed Kruse Stadium for games 2 and 3 of the Seguin, Texas Regional in the NCAA Division III softball tournament. The second-ranked Texas Lutheran Bulldogs look to close out the best-of-5 series with 2 wins over the Chapman Panthers after run-ruling Game 1 9-1 in 5 innings last night. Jared Kindle's our producer back in the KWED studio. Blade Strelsick, the on-site video producer. Great to have you with us on AM 1580 and TLUBulldogs.com. Game 1 was a record-setting night for a couple of TLU standouts. Kelly Jordan, the 2-time All-American outfielder, now has the most hits in program history with 248. She went 2 for 2 with a double to break the previous mark held by Ashley Jacobson. She also scored 3 times and stole 2 bases to extend her program record in those categories and the all-time national record for stolen bases. Ashlyn Struther, the 2-time SCAC Pitcher of the Year, broke the single-season wins record previously held by Maitland Raycroft. She's 22-0 after giving up a single run on 5 hits with 3 strikeouts and 2 walks in 2 1/3 innings. Amanda White relieved Struther and tossed 2 2/3 scoreless innings to keep the Chapman bats at bay for the rest of the night. Sarah Metzer, the most outstanding player of the Seguin Regional last year, continued her postseason tear with a solo home run to finish 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs in the series opener. Madison Johnson drove in 2 runs as well, and Casey Martin went 1 for 3 with a double, a run scored, and an RBI last night. Julia Muniz drove in Miranda Murphy for the only Chapman run. The Bulldogs capitalized on 10 hits and 3 Panther errors to score 5 unearned runs and 4 earned, and hand Chapman Simi Lowers her 5th pitching loss of the season. So TLU's 39-4, riding a 22-game win streak in Wade Wilson's 11th season as head coach. They went 3-0 to win their 8th consecutive Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference title 2 weeks ago. Chapman is now 28-12 in head coach Janet Lloyd's 27th season after winning the Southern California Intercollegiate Athletic Conference title for the first time since joining that league. Your pitching matchup in Game 2 for TLU, Sydney Willette. She's 9-3 with a 0.95 ERA, 48 strikeouts, 14 walks, 95 1/3 innings. Opponents batting just 208 against her. Chapman goes with Jillian Kelly, the SCIAC Pitcher of the Year. She's 14-5 with a 1.88 ERA, 145 strikeouts, 30 walks, and 141 2/3 innings. Opponents batting 206 against her. Coming up soon, the starting lineups in the opening pitch. Right now we take a break. The Seguin, Texas Regional, the D3 Softball Championship on KWED and TLUBulldogs.com.
And now let's meet the team. First, introducing the visiting team in the first game today. That will be the Bulldogs. They will be the visitors on the scoreboard. The non-starters, number 1, Sydney Cox. Number 3, Lexi Coward. Number 10, Ashley Struther. Number 15, Olivia Friend. Number 21, Bella Rodriguez. Number 22, Amanda White. Number 25, Riley Cupro. Number 27, Kruse Williams. Number 44, Kylie Jack. Number 77, Lindsay Leal. Number 50, Kerpoint. Casey White. Macy Barton. Brooklyn Stone. Grace Smith. And now the starters for Game 1. Batting first and playing left field was number 26, Kelly Jordan. Batting second and playing right field was number 4, Maddie Johnson. fourth is the shortstop, number 30, Faith Hernandez. Batting fifth and playing first base is number 14, Laura Hernandez. Batting sixth is the designated player, number 12, Bailey Hudgens. Batting seventh and winning the catch.
Mike McBride back with you at Ed Kruse Stadium. Quickly, the TLU lineup. They're the designated visitor in Game 2 of the best-of-5 series. Kelly Jordan, the left fielder, leading off. Madison Johnson, the right fielder, batting second. Number 3 hitter is the second baseman, Casey Martin. 4, 5, and 6, the shortstop, Faith Hernandez. The first baseman, Laura Hernandez. And the designated player, Bailey Hudgens. 7, 8, and 9, the catcher, Sarah Metzer. The center fielder, Chastity Rains. And the third baseman, Brandolyn D. Chapman with Jillian Kelly in the pitcher circle, throwing to Emily Hayes behind the plate. The infield left to right, Ileana Cerna playing third base. Grace Fosselman, the shortstop. Tracy Okamura, the second baseman. Annika Brisky playing first. In the outfield for Chapman, Julia Muniz playing left field. Ali Taji in center field, and Morgan Lastinger is the right fielder. The winner of this series moves on to face Bellhaven in the Super Regionals. Bellhaven already advancing today with a 5-3 win over Linfield in the Marshall, Texas Regional up on the campus of East Texas Baptist. The Bulldogs riding a 22-game win streak into this contest, 39-4, and trying to close out the sweep today. If it does go to a fourth game, that would start tomorrow at noon, possible doubleheader if it goes to a fifth. TLU hoping to close it out today in 3 on their home field. Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference champions against the SCIAC champs, and a couple of veteran and accomplished head coaches in TLU's Wade Wilson and Chapman's Janet Lloyd. Take another break, pause and rise for the national anthem. We will have the first pitch be underway in the first inning in just a few moments on KWED and TLUBulldogs.com.
Batting fourth and playing left field is number 6, Julian Muniz. Batting fifth is the first baseman, number 22, Annika Brisky. Batting sixth and playing right field is number 11, Morgan Lastinger. Batting seventh, playing second base is number 34, Tracy Okamura. Batting eighth is the catcher, number 27, Emily Hayes. Batting ninth is the shortstop, number 8, Grace Fosselman. And the next player is the pitcher, number 26, Jillian Kelly. The head coach of the Panthers is Janet Lloyd. The assistant coaches are Susie Brady, Monica Kalunga, and Greg Crandall. The umpires for game 1 behind the plate is Mike Milberg. At first base is George Free. And at third base is Hector Torres May. At this time, please rise for Cougar caps as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Just about ready to get underway at Ed Kruse Stadium. Game 2 in the Seguin, Texas Regional. The NCAA Division III softball playoffs. The TLU Bulldogs ranked number 2 nationally with a 1-game-to-none series lead after a 9-1 win in 5 innings last night. Trying to close out the Chapman Panthers tonight. Bulldogs national runner-up a year ago, trying to advance to the super regional round. They brought that back into the D3 playoffs this year after taking a hiatus last season and playing just regional rounds with a larger number of teams. Just a 2-team regional this weekend, the only in the country in the 62-team NCAA Division III field. So the Bulldogs leading off with Kelly Jordan, the 2-time All-American, the all-time hits leader at TLU, 248, a record that Ashley Jacobson, the Marion High School product, owned, graduated back in 2014. And Jordan, the all-time stolen base leader in Division III softball. She'll try to set the table for the Bulldogs, as she has done so effectively in her career. And Jillian Kelly, the SCIAC Pitcher of the Year, will try to control Jordan, retire her to get Chapman off to a good start. First pitch, strike on the outside corner, counts 0-1 for Kelly Jordan. The 5'7" senior from Brenham, Texas, 2-time Conference Player of the Year. She was unseated for that award by her own teammate, Casey Martin, this season. Foul ball out of play on the left side, and the count goes to 0-2 for Kelly Jordan. Jillian Kelly, just a freshman from Woodland Hills, California, and a left-handed pitcher going against the lefty Jordan. The 0-2 pitch. Low and away, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jordan with 223 runs scored, 234 stolen bases, all school records. The count goes to 2-2 after an outside miss from Jillian Kelly. Bulldogs winning their 8th consecutive conference title a couple of weekends ago. This pitch low and away, and the count's full for Kelly Jordan. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Jordan tied for the team lead in walks, 25. And the 3-2 delivery comes home. Grounds at left side of the infield, gobbled up by Grace Fosselman. Bit of a high throw, but a stretching catch by Annika Brisky for out number 1. It's 1 down, bases empty for TLU in the top of the first inning. Madison Johnson to the plate next for the Bulldogs, batting in the 2 spot. Madison, the 5'5" sophomore from Round Rock, transferred to TLU from Texas A&M Corpus Christi. 2nd team all-conference in her first season with the Bulldogs. Watches ball 1 miss outside from Jillian Kelly. 1 ball, no strike count for Madison Johnson. Delivered some late inning heroics in the conference tournament. 3 games that were a little bit closer than I think most TLU fans expected up at the University of Dallas. Extra inning wins over Schreiner and Trinity in the first 2 rounds, and then a bit of a cushion to win 5-1 in the rematch with Trinity on Championship Sunday. 1 ball and 1 strike for Johnson. Swing and a miss. And the count goes to 1-2 for Maddie Johnson. On the season, hitting .412. Has scored 16 times, driven in 15. She was 1 for 3, drove in 2, and scored once in the regional series opener yesterday. Tip foul ball into the screen on the left side, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes for Maddie Johnson. Another lefty-lefty matchup. Kelly with a 1-2 offering, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes for Madison Johnson. Janet Lloyd, the Chapman head coach, with 694 career wins. This is her 27th season. She is a 1984 Chapman graduate. The 2-2. Tip foul into the screen. Do it again. 2 balls and 2 strikes for Madison Johnson. This TLU lineup averaging 6.7 runs a game. Team batting average at .348 to rank 24th nationally. And the 19th best on-base percentage in Division III softball at .423. Here comes the 2-2. That's fouled out of play on the left side. Again, 2 balls and 2 strikes for Madison Johnson. The wind blowing in on a hot, clear sky day in Seguin. Here comes the 2-2 again. Inside miss, and the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes for Madison Johnson. Kelly spins the ball on her left hip, fires home the 3-2. That is roped out to left field for a base hit. 1 out single for Madison Johnson. And a base runner on for TLU in the top of the first. Johnson with 8 stolen bases in 9 attempts this season. As most of the Bulldogs are, a threat to run. They lead the nation in stolen bases, 200 in 215 attempts, an average of 4.5 a game, and they stole 4 in game 1 of this series last night. Casey Martin, the reigning SCAC Player of the Year, steps in with a runner on first and 1 down. Johnson takes her jump off first. The pitch is a strike on the inside corner. 0-1 the count for Casey Martin. Left-handed hitter. And the lefty Kelly comes in with the 0-1 delivery. Looking for the outside edge, locates it. The count's 0-2 for Casey Martin. Casey hitting .434, best average on the team this season. Tied for the team lead in runs scored with 43. She and Kelly Jordan sharing that distinction. 28 RBIs. She was 1 for 3 with a double, drove in a run, and scored once in the series opener last night. A ball and 2 strikes for Casey Martin with a runner on first and 1 down in the top of the first. The 1-2, and that is popped up into shallow center, drops for a base hit. Johnson holds up at second, so consecutive singles put together by Madison Johnson and Casey Martin. And it's 2 on with 1 down for TLU in the top of the first. Faith Hernandez to the plate next. Bulldogs trying to strike early. Make Chapman look at an early deficit on that scoreboard. Hernandez, the freshman. First team all-conference in her first season of collegiate softball. 5'6" from Dinuba, California, and a right-handed hitter going against the lefty, Jillian Kelly. First pitch is on the way home. Missed outside. 1 ball, no strike count for Faith Hernandez. Faith hitting .398 this season. 1 for 2 with a walk in game 1 of the regional series last night. The 9-1 TLU win in 5 innings. Kelly fires home the 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball is tipped foul into the screen right side. 1 ball and 1 strike for Faith Hernandez. Faith also with a good showing in the conference tournament a couple of weeks ago. Her first postseason action as a collegiate softball player. Kelly comes in with the 1-1. Missed high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike for Faith Hernandez. Bulldogs, the 2019 national champions. They were 19-1 when the season was cut short by COVID 2 years ago. They were the national runner-up last year. Quite the run for Wade Wilson's bunch. Swing and a miss. And the count goes to 2-2 for Faith Hernandez. Madison Johnson, the lead runner at second. Casey Martin behind her at first. 1 down for the Bulldogs in the top of the first. No score yet, but Faith Hernandez trying to change that. 2-2. And it misses downstairs. A full count for Faith Hernandez. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Faith 17 walks on the year. .477 on base percentage. She has been a selective hitter. And she watches a strike go by on the outside corner. The first strikeout for Jillian Kelly today. And Faith Hernandez, retired on strikes, goes back to the dugout. So it's 2 down with 2 on for TLU in the top of the first. Laura Hernandez to the plate next. Batting in the 5 spot, the starting first baseman at a first-team all-conference selection. Jillian Kelly throws home. That ball is tipped up in the air, foul, and into the screen. Counts 0-1 for Laura Hernandez. Memorable performance in last year's Seguin, Texas Regional. She came up with the walk-off hit to run rule Emery and Henry and end the regional and book the Bulldogs' trip to Salem, Virginia. Check swing and a high and away miss. 1 ball, 1 strike for Laura Hernandez. Steps out of the batter's box, looks up the third base line to head coach Wade Wilson and digs back in. Kelly with the sign from her catcher Emily Hayes comes in with a 1-1. Low and away. 2-1 the count for Laura Hernandez. Hitting .296 this season, 23 RBIs. She has 4 home runs, 1 behind the team leader Bailey Hudgens with 5. The 2-1. Foul ball into the screen right side. The count's 2-2 for Laura Hernandez. TLU fans encouraged by the 9 runs and the 10 hits in the series opener yesterday. Bulldogs struggled a bit offensively in those 3 conference tournament games a couple of weeks ago, but the pitching was outstanding. They still went 3-0. Line drive to left field, base hit. Johnson rounding third, coming in to score, and the Bulldogs strike first, a 1-0 lead. RBI single for Laura Hernandez, driving in Madison Johnson. Martin holds up at second. So some clutch 2-out hitting for Laura Hernandez. At TLU with a 1-0 lead in the top of the first. Bailey Hudgens to the plate next. Designated player in the Bulldogs lineup, the former Dripping Springs Tiger, batting in the 6th spot. Jillian Kelly in the lefty-righty matchup comes home. And the pitch briefly popping out of the glove of the catcher Emily Hayes. She recovers it, pivots quickly, and the runners stay put. Martin still at second, Hernandez behind her at first with 2 down. The Bulldogs up 1-0 in the top of the first. Bailey Hudgens with a 1-ball, no-strike count. Digs back in. Honorable mention selection to the all-conference team and a junior. And the 1-0 pitch is on the way home. Check swing and a strike delivered on the outside corner. Pinpoint location for Jillian Kelly. Nothing that Bailey Hudgens would want to swing at. The count's 1-1. Kelly rifles home the 1-1 pitch, tipped foul off the end of the bat and into the screen. 1 ball and 2 strikes for Bailey Hudgens. Bailey was 0 for 1, drove in a run with a fielder's choice, put down a sacrifice bunt in the series opener last night. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Again, tipped off the end of the bat, foul. Do it again. 1 ball and 2 strikes for Bailey Hudgens. The strikeout a few moments ago by Faith Hernandez, 106 on the season. Bulldogs only strike out 8% of the time. The 1-2 pitch. Check swing, missed outside. The count goes to 2-2. That's 106 in 1,338 plate appearances. Jillian Kelly with the 2-2. That's hit out to center field on the full speed run. The catch by Ali Taji just behind the TLU logo for out number 3. Bulldogs, though, with a run on 3 hits, 2 left in the top of the first after a half-inning. TLU leading Chapman 1-0. The Seguin, Texas Regional, the NCAA Division III playoffs on KWED and TLUBulldogs.com.
Do you plan on playing college sports? Visit NCAA.org/playcollegesports to learn more about NCAA eligibility requirements. Defensively for the Bulldogs at third base is
Bottom of the first inning at Ed Kruse Stadium in Seguin. TLU staked to a 1-0 lead. RBI single from Laura Hernandez driving in Madison Johnson to put the Bulldogs on top. The Chapman lineup, Ali Taji to lead off. Miranda Murphy batting second. Number 3 hitter is Ileana Serna. 4, 5, and 6, Julia Muniz, Annika Brisky, Morgan Lastinger. Get you the rest of them after this pitch from Sydney Willette. Bat squared to bunt, pulled away. That's a strike on the inside edge. 0-1 the count. Bottom third of the lineup. 7, 8, and 9, Tracy Okamura, Emily Hayes, and Grace Fosselman. It's Sydney Willette throwing to Sarah Metzer behind the plate and the infield after this pitch. Here comes the 0-1. That is looped out into center field. Easy catch for Chastity Rains, and one retired for Chapman here in the bottom of the first. The infield for the Bulldogs, Brandolyn D at third, Faith Hernandez the shortstop, Casey Martin at second, and Laura Hernandez at first. In the outfield, Kelly Jordan in left, Chastity Rains in center field, Madison Johnson in right. One down, bases empty for Chapman. Miranda Murphy, the designated player, batting in the 2 spot. Left-handed hitter going against the righty Sydney Willette. All-conference pitcher in her own right. And her teammate Ashlyn Struther, a candidate for National Pitcher of the Year. She and Kelly Jordan, both top 25 finalists for the National Pitcher and Player of the Year awards. 1 ball, no strike after an outside miss to Murphy. Low and away, and the count goes to 2-0 for Madison Murphy. The freshman from San Diego, California, went to Scripps Ranch High School, her first season of collegiate softball. Willette comes in with a 2-0. Can't locate the strike zone, and it's 3-0 for Miranda Murphy. 338 hitter this season, 6 RBIs, 1 for 2 with a run scored, the only Chapman run in Game 1 last night. Willette looking for the strike zone, and the 3-0 delivery. Strike delivered on the outside corner. 3-1 the count for Miranda Murphy. Here's a ground ball back to the pitcher's circle, but it's foul. It landed in the box and rolled forward before it reached Sydney Willette.
Now batting is the third baseman, number 7, Serna.
Nope. Miranda Murphy is safe at first. Sorry, had to look away with a moment from the field, deal with a technical issue. But Ileana Serna is standing in with a runner at first, and 1 down for Chapman at the bottom of the first. Serna up for the first time, base runner on first and 1 down. Tipped foul ball, left side of the third base line, and the count 0-2 for Ileana Serna. Second team all-conference selection, the 5'5" freshman from Placencia, California. Went to El Dorado High School. Willette throws home. Swing and a miss. Strikeout for Sydney Willette, her first of the game. Serna retired, and it's 2 down with a runner on first for Chapman in the bottom of the first. Julia Muniz to the plate for the first time. Cleanup hitter for Chapman. Right-handed bat. .352 average, and she leads in all the extra base hit categories. Swings at this pitch, and that's drilled into right center for a base hit. Rounding second, headed to third, Miranda Murphy. Runners at the corners with 2 down after the single by Julia Muniz. Found a good offering on the first pitch from Sydney Willette and sent it just past the glove of Casey Martin out into right center. Annika Brisky to the plate, first and third. 2 down. TLU up 1-0, the bottom of the first. Brisky, the left-handed hitter, going against the righty Sydney Willette. The pitch. Missed low and away. 1 ball, no strike count. comes the 1-0 delivery. Line foul left side of the third base line and out toward the Chapman dugout. Miranda Murphy able to reach base after the strikeout by Ileana Cerna. Julia Muniz singled. Runners at the corners. Chapman down 1-0 and an opportunity here with Anna Brisky at the plate. Brisky hitting .390 on the season, 22 RBIs. The 1-1 pitch. Low and away, the count goes to 2-1. Brisky, a second-team all-conference selection. 5'10" senior from Los Gatos, California. And Willette sends in the 2-1. That's chopped up the first base side, foul ball. And Brisky will come back, work with a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Chapman only scoring once against the combination of Sydney Willette and Amanda White. Or Ashlyn Struther and Amanda White, beg your pardon, in the series opener yesterday. 2-2 pitches fouled into the screen left side. Do it again, 2 balls and 2 strikes for Annika Brisky. And this Chapman lineup averaging just over 5 runs a game. Team batting average at .321. Miranda Murphy, the lead runner, standing at third. Behind her, Julia Muniz at first. This pitch is popped up, foul territory, left side of third base. And the catch by Brandolyn D for the third out. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. 1 inning complete. TLU with a 1-0 lead over Chapman. Game 2 of the Seguin, Texas Regional. The NCAA Division III softball playoffs on KWED and TLUBulldogs.com.
Tell the world you're here to share your experiences, connect with other fans, and gain behind-the-scenes access to your favorite teams. For more information, visit ncaa.com/social.
Top of the second at Ed Kruse Stadium. TLU looking to add to a 1-0 lead over Chapman. Game 2 of the best 3 out of 5 series. The Bulldogs do lead the set 1-0 after the run rule victory last night. Sarah Metzer to lead things off for TLU in the top of the second. Chastity Rains to follow, and Brandolyn D batting in the 9th spot. Sarah Metzer has had well-decorated career as a TLU Bulldog. Right-handed hitter steps in, home run in the series opener last night, and drove in 2 in that TLU victory. Takes a strike on the outside edge, and the count is 0-1 for Sarah Metzer. First team all-conference. She was the most outstanding player of the Seguin Regional a year ago. Big cut, no contact, and the count goes to 0-2 for Sarah Metzer. From Dulles High School, Sugar Land, Texas native, 5'9" junior, digs back in, behind the count 0-2. Jillian Kelly, the lefty-righty matchup, comes home with a pitch. Metzer with a big swing, misses again, and she strikes out on 3 pitches. Second strikeout for Jillian Kelly, and it's 1 down, bases empty for TLU in the top of the second. Chastity Rains to the plate next. Second team all-conference selection, 5'7", the senior from Klein Collins High School. Batting left-handed. She is a switch hitter, works from the left side this time and pokes it foul left side of the third base line. Counts 0-1 for Chastity Rains. 1 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Also had a stolen base in the TLU win last night. Working left-handed against the lefty pitcher, Jillian Kelly. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Low and away, 1 ball, 1 strike for Chastity Rains. Chapman with a 3-0 run through the Southern California Intercollegiate Athletic Conference Tournament. This is chopped straight ahead, fielded by the catcher Hayes. Can't make the throw, has no play on it. The ball just died in between the circle and the plate, and that's an infield single for Chastity Rains with 1 down here in the top of the second. And Rains a threat to run. 29 stolen bases in 29 attempts. Brandolyn D to the plate next, another left-handed bat. So the Panthers will have to pay attention to Rains. She takes off. Here's the throw from Hayes, sliding in just underneath the tag of Grace Fosselman with her 30th stolen base this season, Chastity Rains. And she stands in scoring position. Rains with an infield single and a stolen base. The Bulldogs utilize their speed to finally put together some offense in the conference championship clincher against Trinity when the bats weren't really connecting well in that tournament a couple of weeks ago. Bunt poked foul to the right side of the first base line by Brandolyn D. 1 ball, 1 strike. Brandolyn, a second-team all-conference selection, the sophomore 5'8" Guadalupe County product from Steele High School in Cibolo. A right-handed hitter with a runner in scoring position and 1 down. Her Bulldogs up 1-0. 1-1 pitch misses low. She had the bat squared, pulled it away, and the count is 2-1. D this season with 5 sacrifice bunts. Maybe looking to do so here. Swings away, pops it up to shallow center field, and Taji with the grab for the second out. 2 down with a base runner on second. Back to the top of the TLU lineup for Kelly Jordan. Terrific tournament opener last night. Kelly 2 for 2 with a double, a walk, 3 runs scored, 2 stolen bases, and a sacrifice bunt. Did a little bit of everything to help the Bulldogs win that game. Line drive to left field. Rounding third, coming in Chastity Rains, and she'll score to give the Bulldogs a 2-0 lead. Kelly Jordan with a 2-out RBI single, driving in Chastity Rains. And TLU's up 2-0 in the top of the second. Continues to have a strong postseason. Madison Johnson to the plate next. So a run for the Bulldogs in each of the first 2 innings. And a 2-0 lead over Chapman University. Johnson singled and scored TLU's first run. The last time she was up at the top of the first came home on the RBI single by Laura Hernandez. Jillian Kelly fires home the first pitch. Runner takes off. Here's the throw. And Jordan sliding in just ahead of the tag by Fosselman. Kelly Jordan extends on her Division III record for stolen bases. She stands in scoring position. Kelly with her 66th stolen base this season, ranks 2nd nationally this year in that category. Jillian Kelly comes in with a 1-0 pitch. Jordan taking a big jump off second, will not try to go to third. Chapman anticipating the possible stolen base attempt that time with an outside pitch to Emily Hayes, and she was ready to throw. 2-0 the count for Madison Johnson. Pitch is on the way home. And a strike on the inside corner. 2-1 for Maddie Johnson. So Kelly Jordan now with 235 stolen bases in her career. Stands at second with 2 down, and her Bulldogs up 2-0 in the top of the second. The pitch, tip foul, and into the screen behind the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes for Madison Johnson. So these 2 teams know who's waiting in the next round, the Super Regionals. It's Bellhaven, the ASC champions, closing out the Marshall, Texas Regional today with a win over Linfield. This pitch is hit in the gap out to left center field. This thing has a chance. It's 1 bounce, it back to the wall, and another run scores. Jordan comes in to put the Bulldogs up 3-zip. Madison Johnson drills an RBI double to the left center gap. She's 2 for 2 now with a run scored and an RBI. And TLU with a 3-0 lead. They've plated 2 here in the top of the second. Casey Martin, who singled the last time she was up, steps in.
Now hitting is the second baseman, number 5, Casey Martin.
Madison Johnson standing at second with 2 down. Johnson with her 3rd hit of this regional series. We're less than 2 innings into game 2. Jillian Kelly, the first pitch to Casey Martin, fouled in the air, now to play on the left side. 0-1 the count for Casey Martin. She was the conference newcomer of the year during the national championship season in 2019. And full circle, capturing the player of the year award this season. The 0-1 pitch bounces into the catcher, Emily Hayes. Runner takes off, sliding in safely at third. Madison Johnson on the wild pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike for Casey Martin. And Casey now with 2 hits in the regional series. They're going 1 for 3 last night and singling earlier today in the top of the first. Kelly with the 1-1, low and away, 2 balls and 1 strike for Casey Martin. Jillian Kelly did pitch in game 1. She allowed 3 runs on 7 hits, a strikeout, a walk, in 3 1/3 innings. It was Simi Lowers who took the loss, giving up 6 runs, but only 1 earned. Some defensive problems for Chapman in game 1 last night. A strike on the inside corner to Casey Martin. The count goes to 2-2. Madison Johnson, the runner, standing at third with 2 down. The Bulldogs up 3-zip. The pitch grounded left side of the infield and misplayed by Fosselman. The error allows the half inning to go on and Johnson to come in and score, and the Bulldogs are up 4-0. Fosselman just could not cleanly glove it. So Martin, on the error, is safe at first, and Johnson scores. 3 across in this half inning for TLU at a 4-0 lead over Chapman. Game 2 of the best-of-5 series. Faith Hernandez steps in with a runner on first and 2 outs. Jillian Kelly throws home, tip foul into the screen, 0-1 the count. Hernandez struck out the last time she was up. She'll look to make amends for that, going against fellow freshman Jillian Kelly. Kelly looks in for the sign from Emily Hayes and fires home the 0-1. And a jump off first by Casey Martin goes back quickly. 1 ball, 1 strike after an outside miss to Faith Hernandez. Here comes the 1-1. And again, Martin taking a jump, going back. Hayes feigning that throw down toward first. 1 ball and 2 strikes for Faith Hernandez. Kelly with the 1-2, looking for the outside corner, can't locate it. 2 balls and 2 strikes for Faith Hernandez. Bulldogs have scored 3 runs here in the top of the second, lead Chapman 4-0. Have the runner at first with 2 down. The 2-2 from Kelly, fouled into the screen right side. Do it again. 2 balls and 2 strikes for the freshman Faith Hernandez. The fans on the third base side fighting off the sun. If you're on the first base side, and most of them are leaning in that direction, you've got it behind you as it sets in the west. But a hot day in Seguin, not a cloud in the sky. A little bit of a breeze blowing in from the southeast. Cool things off slightly. Here comes the 2-2. High and away, full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes for Faith Hernandez. Kelly into her motion with the payoff pitch. Foul ball behind the screen, out of play. Again, full count for Faith Hernandez. Casey Martin, the TLU base runner, standing at first. She reached on an error. That allowed Madison Johnson to come in and score the Bulldogs' 4th run just moments ago. The 3-2 pitch again. Runner takes off. This is lifted in the air to right field. Lastinger with the easy catch for the 3rd out. The Bulldogs plate 3 in the top of the 2nd. 3 hits, 1 error, 1 left. We head to the bottom of the 2nd after this break. It is 4-0 TLU over Chapman in the Seguin, Texas Regional on KWED and TLUBulldogs.com.
Bulldogs in the 2nd inning, 3 runs on 3 hits, 1 error and 1 liner left on base. Sports wagering has the potential to undermine the integrity of intercollegiate athletics and jeopardize the welfare of student athletes. For more information about the NCAA sports wagering and educational resources, go to don'tbetont.org.
Bottom of the 2nd at Ed Kruse Stadium. Texas Lutheran now with a 4-0 lead over Chapman. Just scored 3 runs in the top of the 2nd. It was Chastity Rain singling, stealing 2nd, and with 2 outs, Kelly Jordan driving her in with an RBI single. Then Jordan stole 2nd. Madison Johnson with an RBI double driving her in, and Johnson scoring on an error. A ground ball by Casey Martin that was mishandled by Chapman shortstop Grace Fosselman. So the Bulldogs now stake to a 4-0 lead. And Sydney Willette will start off the bottom of the 2nd against Morgan Lastinger, the 6th hitter in the Panthers lineup. She'll be followed by Tracy Okamura and Emily Hayes. Lastinger up for the first time in this game. Righty-righty matchup. Willette throws home. Big cut, no contact, and the count is 0-1 for Morgan Lastinger. The freshman, 5'5" from Yorba Linda, California, and went to Yorba Linda High School. Willette comes in with the 0-1 delivery. Swing and a miss. 0-2 for Morgan Lastinger. She's hitting .310 this season. 14 runs scored. 1 home run, 19 RBI. She was 1 for 2 in the opening game of the series last night. Willette comes in with the 0-2 pitch. Misses slow and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes for Morgan Lastinger. Willette with a glance to the dugout for the pitch sign. Looking into Sarah Metzer now on the 1-2 pitch. Bounces in and Metzer able to block it. Low and inside again. 2 balls and 2 strikes for Morgan Lastinger. She steps out of the batter's box. A couple of practice swings and digs back in. And now Willette looks to the wristband. Fires home the 2-2. Grounded up the 3rd baseline. Brandilyn D with a catch on a couple of hops and the throw to Laura Hernandez for the 5-3 ground out. So Lastinger retired. 1 down for Chapman in the bottom of the 2nd. Tracy Okamura to the plate next, batting the 7th spot. The starting 2nd baseman for the Panthers. Okamura, the senior, 5'1", right-hander from Mililani, Hawaii. Sydney Willette comes home with the first pitch. Breaking ball is on the inside corner for strike 1. Okamura hitting .275 this season, 20 runs scored, 16 RBIs. Her on-base percentage is .352. She was 0 for 1 the first game of the series last night. Strike on the outside corner, counts 0-2 for Tracy Okamura. Willette ahead in the count 0-2 to the 2nd straight batter. Misses low and away. Check swing, and the home plate umpire confirming with his partner beyond first base that the bat stopped. Counts 1 ball and 2 strikes for Tracy Okamura. Willett looks to the dugout, looks to the wristband, looks into Sarah Metzer, and the 1-2 pitch is on the way home. Swing and a miss. And the first strikeout this half inning for Willett, second of the ball game, and it's 2 down for Chapman in the bottom of the second. Emily Hayes to the plate next with 2 outs and the bases empty. Texas Lutheran with a 4-0 lead. Game 2 in a best-of-5 series, the only regional in the country with that format. 2 teams playing best 3 out of 5. 62-team field, everybody else in a 4-team regional. 0-1 the count after a strike delivery by Willett to Emily Hayes. The junior from Monterey, California, went to Santa Catalina High School. Here comes the 0-1 pitch from Sydney Willett. Check swing, and the drop ball's in the strike zone. Count goes to 0-2. Froze up Emily Hayes, and the third straight batter that Willett's been able to work ahead 0-2 against. So Hayes digs back in. Sid fires home the pitch, misses low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes for Emily Hayes. She's hitting .262 on the season. Did not have a plate appearance in Game 1. The 9-1 TLU win in 5 innings last night. The 1-2 pitch. Tipped foul, barely off the bat, straight down. And Emily Hayes stays alive at 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Sydney Willett trying to toss a 1-2-3 inning after allowing 2 base runners in the first. And the 1-2 pitch is on the way home. Chopped up the third base side, foul to the left of Brandolyn D. Do it again, 1 ball and 2 strikes for Emily Hayes. Bulldogs with the second best team earned run average in Division III softball, 1.17. And their top 2 pitchers, Ashlyn Struther and Sydney Willett, with ERAs less than 1. Willett at 0.95. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. That is hit into left field for a base hit. Just grounded in between Hernandez and D and out toward Kelly Jordan. So Hayes with a 2-out single stands at first. And Grace Fosselman will come to the plate next. 9-hole hitter for Chapman, starting shortstop. Fosselman, the freshman from Pasadena, California, went to LaSalle High School. Base runner to work with. Her Panthers down to TLU 4-0. Towering fly ball, foul territory right side on the full speed run. Madison Johnson with the catch for the final out. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left for Chapman in the bottom of the second. 2 complete, and TLU with a 4-0 lead over Chapman. Seguin, Texas Regional, the NCAA Division III softball playoffs on KWED and TLUBulldogs.com. Mike McBride back with you at Ed Kruse Stadium, top of the 3rd inning. Laura Hernandez to lead off for TLU. Bailey Hudgens batting next in the 6th spot. And the 7-hitter Sarah Metzer. Bulldogs leading Chapman 4-0, and they lead the best-of-5 series 1 game to none after the 9-1 win last night. A doubleheader today TLU hoping for 2 wins, close out the sweep. Chapman trying to win at least 1 and force some Sunday softball here in Seguin, Texas. And if you're listening locally and you hear me say top of an inning when TLU's at bat, that is because the Bulldogs are the designated visitor in this game in the regional format after being the home team in Game 1 last night. And if they will be the home team later in the 3rd game of the series to follow this one. Laura Hernandez steps in, RBI single the last time she was up, driving in Madison Johnson for TLU's first run. Jillian Kelly comes in with the first pitch to Laura Hernandez. That's drilled deep to left field, but foul as it bounces off the fence. And the count's 0-1 for Laura Hernandez. From Missouri City, Texas, went to Ridge Point High School, San Jacinto Junior College before transferring to TLU. Jillian Kelly into her motion with the 0-1 delivery to Hernandez. Swing and a miss. Counts 0-2 for Laura Hernandez. Trying to set the table for the Bulldogs here in the top of the 3rd. Bailey Hudgens waiting in the on-deck circle. Kelly spins the ball on her left hip, throws home the 0-2 and misses away. 1 ball, 2 strikes for Laura Hernandez. Hernandez with her 24th RBI of the season earlier in this game. She drove in Johnson in the first. The 1-2 pitch. Downstairs, and the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes for Laura Hernandez. Kelly fires home the 2-2. That's hit in the air to right field, and it drops for a base hit. A close play. It did drop in front of Lastinger, the right fielder charging. Had a chance to record the rare 9-3 out, but didn't quite make the throw to Brisky in time. Hernandez able to get there. She's 2 for 2 in this game. A base hit for Hernandez, and Bailey Hudgens to the plate next. Lined out to the center fielder, Ali Taji, the last time she was up. And that was the final out in the top of the 1st. Pinch runner coming on to replace Laura Hernandez. Riley Futrell, the freshman from Florence, Texas. So Futrell running for Hernandez. And she stands at first with nobody out. Top of the 3rd. Bailey Hudgens with an opportunity here to do something with the base runner. She did put down a sacrifice bunt in the series opener last night. She is capable in that regard, though you think of her as a power hitter. Futrell takes her jump off first, the pitch missing outside, and Hayes to her feet. Well, that pitch did find the outside corner, and the count's 0-1 for Bailey Hudgens. Kelly with the 0-1, the bat squared, the bunt poked up the first base line, gloved by Hayes, and the throw back to Okamura covering, but the sacrifice bunt successful. 1 down, and Futrell goes to second on the sac bunt by Bailey Hudgens, her 2nd in this series. Sarah Metzer to the plate next with a runner in scoring position. She struck out the last time she was up to lead off the top of the 2nd. Solo home run and 2 RBIs in Game 1 last night. First pitch. Chops it up the third base side, foul. Rolled left of the paint before it reached Ileana Cerna. And the count's 0-1 for Sarah Metzer. Sarah hitting .351 this season, 19 RBIs. The 0-1 delivery comes home. That's chopped to the left side of the infield, taken by Fosselman. The throw to first in time for the out, and Futrell goes to 3rd. So 2 down for TLU in the top of the 3rd as Metzer is retired, 6-3. Chastity Rains will come to the plate next with Futrell at 3rd. Bulldogs up 4-0 looking for some two-out hitting from Chastity Rains. She singled the last time she was up, stole second, eventually scored on the Kelly Jordan RBI single. First pitch swing, grounder up the third baseline, booted by Cerna, and the run scores. A defensive miscue for Chapman. Second one of this game, and the Bulldogs capitalized. Butrell comes in, and it's a 5-0 lead for the Bulldogs, and Rains reaching on the error. Brandolyn D to the plate next. D batting in the 9 spot. Popped up to the center fielder Ali Taji for out number 2 in the top of the second. Runner on first, 2 down. Rains taking a jump. Pitch missed outside. Hayes hopping to her feet, trying to keep Rains honest down there at first. 1 ball, no strike count for Brandolyn D. The pitch from Kelly. Runner takes off, way ahead of the throw with the stolen base, Chastity Rains. Her second in this game, and her 31st this season. She's in scoring position with 2 down. Brandolyn D's ahead in the count, 2-0. Kelly throws home. Miss slow and away. Rains takes off again. A high throw into left field, and Rains will score on the error. Hayes sailing a throw, too tall for Cerna. Leaks out into left field, so Rains stealing third, then scoring on the error. Coming home to give TLU a 6-0 lead. Bulldogs aggressive on the bases, challenging Chapman to make plays defensively, and they haven't been up to the task so far in this game. So 2 down, bases empty. Brandolyn D stands in, and she sees ball 4 go by, high and inside. D with a walk, heads down to first. Back to the top of the lineup for TLU. We're in the top of the third. TLU scored 2 more runs in this half inning to open up a 6-0 lead. And Kelly Jordan up for the 3rd time. RBI single, stolen base, and run scored the last time she was up in the second. That's after a ground out to Grace Fosselman, the shortstop, in the first. The first pitch, bat was squared, runner takes off, the throw, and bounces into center field, but cut off by Taji. An easy stolen base for Brandolyn D. She stands in scoring position. The Bulldogs have stolen 4 bases already in this game. That was the total last night in game 1 of the series. And the Panthers talking about it. Pitching staff, Jillian Kelly, Emily Hayes, the rest of the infield, Cerna, Fosselman, Okamura, Brisky, all gathered in the circle. Conversation breaks up relatively quickly. Jordan steps back in with a 1 ball, no strike count. Brandolyn D, the runner, standing at second. 6-0, the Bulldogs in front, top of the 3rd. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Runner taking a big jump again, and Chapman seems to be in disarray when the Bulldogs are aggressive on the bases. 2-0 count as Kelly Jordan stayed away from that high offering from Jillian Kelly. The 2-0's on the way home. On the outside corner, 2 balls and 1 strike for Kelly Jordan. The 2-time All-American, 2-time Conference Player of the Year, made the catch for the final out in the national title clincher 3 years ago, out in left field. 3-1 after another miss by Jillian Kelly. Brandolyn D standing at second with 2 down. The Bulldogs up 6-0. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. Jordan chops it foul left side of the third base line. Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes for Kelly Jordan. Kelly's on base percentage .473. And the 3-2 pitch comes home. Looking for the inside edge, can't locate it. Ball 4, and Kelly Jordan draws the walk. Heads down to first, so it's first and second with 2 down for TLU in the top of the 3rd. Madison Johnson, who's 2 for 2 in today's game, steps in for the 3rd time. First pitch, stayed away from it, and it was low. 1 ball, no strike count. Johnson with a base hit and a run scored in the first. RBI double and run scored in the second. The 1-0 pitch. Strike on the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike for the sophomore, Madison Johnson. The second team all-conference selection digs in. 1-1 pitch. Kelly's able to locate the outside edge. 1-2 the count for Madison Johnson. D, the lead runner at second. Kelly Jordan behind her at first. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Grounded hard, leaks into center field, base hit. Rounding third, coming in Brandolyn D ahead of the throw to score and put TLU in front 7-0. Madison Johnson with an RBI single. She's 3 for 3. 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. And Brandolyn D coming in on that base hit by Johnson to put the Bulldogs in front 7-0 here in the top of the third. Kelly Jordan, the lead runner, Johnson behind her. And we'll see a pitching change for Chapman. Coming on to replace Jillian Kelly is Jessica Kim. She hasn't received a ton of action this season. Kim is 1-1 with a 3.60 ERA. This will be her 6th appearance. She has made 2 starts. She has only worked 11 2/3 innings. She's given up 9 runs, 6 of those earned on 16 hits. She has not struck out a batter this season. She has 6 walks. She's allowed 4 doubles, 1 home run. And opponents are batting .333 against her. But it is Jessica Kim replacing Jillian Kelly, the SCIAC Pitcher of the Year, in the circle. And trying to keep the Bulldogs from moving into run rule territory. TLU with 2 on and 2 down, 3 more runs across here in the top of the third, and an opportunity to take an 8-run lead or more, depending on how the rest of this half inning goes. Casey Martin, the next scheduled batter as well. So the 2 runners on after the RBI single by Johnson, driving in D. And the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference Player of the Year is the next scheduled batter. Tough spot for Jessica Kim to come into. But the Bulldogs having their way with Jillian Kelly, taking advantage of some defensive problems as well. Aggressive base running certainly contributing to that. Jessica Kim, the senior, 5'5". She's from San Ramon, California, and went to Dougherty Valley High School. Listed as both a pitcher and an outfielder, utility player for Chapman. She's a right-hander, so she replaces the lefty Jillian Kelly, and a righty-lefty matchup with left-handed hitting, Casey Martin stepping in. Jordan, the lead runner at second base. The pitch. Jordan took a big jump. No chance to steal. She goes back. Emily Hayes prepared. A 1 ball, no strike count after a low and away miss to Casey Martin. Base hit in the first, reached on an error in the second. Her 3rd plate appearance today. The 1-0. Upstairs, and the count goes to 2-0 for Casey Martin. When she reached on that error in the second, that allowed Madison Johnson to score. And the Bulldogs have now opened up a 7-0 lead. The 2-0 pitch, outside corner, and the count goes to 2-1 for Casey Martin. Runner takes off. Jordan goes second to third. And her 2nd stolen base of the day. Johnson behind her, 1st to 2nd. So 2 in scoring position with 2 down and a 2 ball, 1 strike count for Casey Martin. TLU in front 7-0. Jessica Kim looking in to Emily Hayes for the sign. Has one that she likes. The 2-1 comes home. High and away. 3 balls and 1 strike for Casey Martin. So Kelly Jordan with 67 stolen bases on the year. And her career total now 236. This is chopped up the middle and a diving effort by Fosselman, but the throw not in time, and 2 more runs score for TLU. Then an overthrow, pass first. Both Jordan and Johnson come in. And after that overthrow pass first, Martin is able to go all the way to second. Give Martin the base hit, took second on the error. Jordan and Johnson score. It's 9-0 TLU in the top of the third. Faith Hernandez to the plate next, runner on second. 2 down. TLU's opened up a 9-0 lead in game 2 of the series. Best 3 out of 5. And the Bulldogs hope to keep that lead above 8 runs and try to close out another run rule victory the next couple of innings. 1 ball, no strike count after Kim misses to Faith Hernandez. She'll dig back in. Faith is 0 for 2 in this game. Kim throws home. That's chopped up the third base side. Misplayed by Cerna. And doesn't have a play anywhere. Defensive problems abound for Chapman. Martin stays at second. Fernandez on the error stands at first. TLU's batted around in this half inning. The player who led it off, Laura Hernandez, comes back up with runners at first and second. A visit to the pitcher's circle, and the entire Chapman defense gathered. So play pause momentarily. Coaching staff trying to settle the Panthers down here. The Bulldogs have broken it wide open. 5 runs here in the third to open up a 9-0 lead. Scored once in the first, 3 more in the second, and 5 here in the third. And the home plate umpire's headed out there to break up the discussion. TLU trying to pour it on here. Go ahead and expedite the start of the third game. If they can run rule Chapman here in game 2. Laura Hernandez, 2 for 2. RBI single in the first, base hit, run scored earlier in this half inning, about to stand in for the third time. Good to see the bats going for TLU. They struggled in that department despite going 3-0 to win the conference championship in Irving a couple of weeks ago. And a pass ball here, gets away from Emily Hayes, runners take off. Casey Martin to third, Faith Hernandez to second. So Laura Hernandez with a 1 ball, no strike count. And 2 in scoring position, the 1-0 pitch. Misses outside from Jessica Kim. The count goes to 2-0. Kim looks in for the sign. The 2-0 delivery, ripped foul on the ground, left side of third base. 2-1 for Laura Hernandez. It was Riley Futrell, her pinch runner, who scored that run in the third inning after the Hernandez single. So she is 2 for 2 with an RBI. And the 2-1 pitch to Hernandez on the outside corner from Jessica Kim. The count goes to 2-2. TLU looks to extend the winning streak to 23 games. Put Chapman on the brink of elimination. 9-0 lead for the Bulldogs here in the top of the fourth. The 2-2, chopped foul left side of the third base line. Do it again, 2 balls and 2 strikes for Laura Hernandez. Kim just trying to settle down, work 1 pitch at a time after replacing Jillian Kelly. The 2-2 delivery, check swing, outside miss, the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Casey Martin, the TLU runner at third. Faith Hernandez behind her at second. 2 outs at a full count for Laura Hernandez. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. High and away, ball 4, and Hernandez walks. The bases loaded with 2 down. Bailey Hudgens to the plate next with the bases juiced. She lined out to the center fielder Ali Taji in the first, put down a sacrifice bunt earlier in this half inning. And her Bulldogs in front 9-0. Pitch comes home. Watched it go by, and it's a strike in the outside corner. Counts 0-1. Bailey, the home run leader on the team with 5, the RBI leader with 31, tied with the team lead in doubles. Kelly Jordan and Bailey Hudgens each with 10. 0-1 pitch. Pass ball pops away from Hayes. Martin comes in from third to score. 10-0 TLU. Chapman having some problems playing catch. Simple as that. Faith Hernandez goes second to third. Laura Hernandez first to second. 10-0 TLU at a 1-ball-1-strike count for Bailey Hudgens. And a low miss that bounces into Emily Hayes will bring the count to 2-1. So Faith Hernandez now the lead runner with Laura Hernandez behind her. Kim, the 2-1 pitch. Chop left side of the infield, right through the wickets and into left field. 2 more runs are going to score. Faith Hernandez comes in, Laura behind her. And it's 12-0 TLU. Cerna in position to make the play, put her glove down. It made it somehow underneath the glove and between the ankles and out into left field. And the Bulldogs have turned this into a lopsided affair. A 12-0 lead. We're not out of the top of the third. Coming on to run for Bailey Hudgens is Kirsten Williams. So Williams standing at first. Sarah Metzer steps in. She is 0 for 2 in this game after the strikeout in the second, the ground ball to Grace Fosselman, the shortstop, in the third. So Sarah would like to get the bat going. She may not have a chance here. Could have a pinch hitter coming on. She's headed back toward the dugout. TLU assistant coach Olivia Van Hook talking to the home plate umpire. And a new hitter will come on the 7 spot for Sarah Metzer. Kylie Jack, the 5'5" freshman from Brazoswood, will pinch hit for Sarah Metzer. She comes in with a runner on first, 2 down, and her Bulldogs leading Chapman 12-0. Jack batting left-handed against the righty Jessica Kim. First pitch, Kirsten Williams, who is running for Bailey Hudgens, takes that jump off of first and goes back. Outside miss, and the count's 1-0 for Kylie Jack. Williams 14 of 14 on stolen base attempts this season. Yet another athlete with speed on the bases for this TLU team. Kim looks in for the sign. The 1-0 pitch comes home to Kylie Jack on the outside edge for strike 1. The count goes to 1-1. TLU with 8 runs across in the third. They lead Chapman 12-0. Game 2 of this best-of-5 regional series. Lead the series 1-0. Here comes the 1-1 to Jack. Again, Williams with the jump off first and goes back, and that's a strike delivered by Jessica Kim. 1-2 the count for Kylie Jack. The 1-2 grounded hard up the third base side, but foul. Do it again. 1 ball and 2 strikes for Kylie Jack. She's hitting .350 on the year. 9 runs scored, 2 home runs. She's driven in 11. This is her first plate appearance in the regional series. The 1-2, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes for Kylie Jack. The first-year player with some pop in her bat has a base runner to work with. here in the top of the third. 2 outs for TLU. Jessica Kim rifles in the 2-2. Runner takes off. This ball is hit out to left field, and that drops in the gap, motoring around third Williams. She'll come in and score. And Kylie Jack driving her in with a double. 13-0 TLU. So Kylie Jack pinch hitting, delivers. Drives in Kirsten Williams, was running for Bailey Hudgens. Chastity Rains to the plate next with a base runner standing at second. 13-0 the Bulldogs lead. 9 of those runs here in the third. First pitch to Rains. Strike on the outside corner. Counts 0-1. Base hit, runs scored in the second. Reached on an error, scored on an error earlier in this half inning. She has stolen 3 bases in this game. The 0-1 pitch sails over the head of the catcher Emily Hayes, and Jack takes off second to third on the wild pitch. So Kylie Jack standing at third with 2 down in the top of the third. Chastity Rains, the 13th Bulldog to come up in this half inning, fouls one out of play on the left side. Counts 1-2 for Chastity Rains, the most outstanding player, the D3 World Series back in 2019, for the work that she did in the circle and at the plate. The national championship run. The 1-2 pitch, low and away, 2 balls and 2 strikes for Chastity Rains. The Bulldogs have been dominant thus far in this 2-team regional. 9-1 win in 5 innings last night, and they lead game 2 13-0 here in the top of the third. The 2-2 pitch, that's grounded hard to right field, base hit. Here comes Kylie Jack to score. Chastity Rains with an RBI single, and it's 14-0 TLU. They're just pouring it on here in the third inning. Chapman cannot induce that elusive third out. And that's 10 runs for TLU here in the third. Time called, and the dugout staff bringing some water out to Jessica Kim, the relief pitcher who came on for Jillian Kelly earlier in this half inning. 14-0 the TLU lead. Chastity Rains standing at first. Another pinch hitter coming on, Olivia Prince, the freshman from Georgetown, Texas, to bat in the 9 spot in place of Brandolyn D.
Now hitting is pinch hitter number 15, Olivia Prince.
So Prince up for the first time in this game. Runner on first with 2 outs. Kim throws home. Misses outside. 1 ball, no strike count for Olivia Prince. She's hitting .292 this season, 3 home runs, 22 RBIs on her ledger. Jessica Kim with a 1-0 pitch, check swing. Chastity Rains taking the jump off first and goes back. 1 ball, 1 strike. As Kim is able to locate the zone. Kim with a 1-1 delivery. And Olivia Prinz almost hit by the pitch. It missed inside. Just made it by her into the mid of Emily Hayes. Count 2-1 for Olivia Prinz. Kim fires home the 2-1. Check swing, and the pitch missed low and away. 3-1 for Olivia Prinz. Her on-base percentage, .434. This her first plate appearance in the regional series. The 3-1 pitch, chop left side of the infield. The shortstop Fosselman has it, can't make the throw across in time. Prinz beats it out after hitting it deep in the hole for an infield single. Rains goes to second. 2 on with 2 down. 14 batters have come up here in the third for TLU. The Bulldogs have plated 10 runs in this half inning. They lead Chapman 14-0. And Texas Lutheran still in the top of the third, well into run rule territory. And Brandolin D is going to come back on and run for Olivia Prinz at first base. Raines the lead runner at second. Kelly Jordan stands in for the fourth time in this game. First pitch, missed away, 1 ball, no strike count. Jordan grounded out to the shortstop, Grace Fosselman, in the first. RBI single, stolen base, and run scored in the second. Walk, stolen base, run scored earlier in this half inning. The 1-0 pitch. Low and away, and the count's 2-0 for Kelly Jordan, the most decorated positional player in TLU softball history. And the 2-0 pitch. Looking for the inside corner, can't find it. Kelly Jordan's ahead in the count, 3-0, so Kim's in danger of walking the bases loaded. Here comes the 3-0. Outside corner. 3 balls and 1 strike for Kelly Jordan. The lead runner, Chastity Raines, at second, and Brandolin D running for Olivia Prinz, who pinch hit for Brandolin, came up with a single. She stands at first. This pitch is on the outside corner for strike 2, and the count's full for Kelly Jordan. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Chapman looking for that elusive third out. The 3-2 pitch, that's ripped into left field. Base hit, Chastity Raines rounding third, motoring home to score. 15-0 TLU. RBI single for Kelly Jordan. D goes to second. Jordan with her second RBI single of this game and her second hit. So she's driven in 2. Raines scoring for the 3rd time this evening. And the Bulldogs continue to pour it on. $16-0. Maddie Johnson at the plate. Jordan standing at first. The lead runner ahead of her is D at second. This pitch misses low and away. Madison Johnson up for the 4th time with a 2-ball, no strike count. She is connected on hits and scored every time that she's been up. First, second earlier in this half inning. A double between the 2 singles. She's driven in 3 runs. 1-1 pitch, outside corner, 1-2 for Madison Johnson. Kim sends in the 1-2 delivery. Misses away, and the count goes to 2-2. This pitch is ripped to the right side of the infield, but a diving catch by Okamura. The sidearm toss to Brisky, and the elusive third out finally recorded for Chapman. But the Bulldogs with a huge third inning, plating 12, and they lead 16-0 over Chapman as we head to the bottom of the third after this. Seguin, Texas Regional NCAA Division III softball playoffs on KWED and TLUBulldogs.com. Correct score 15-0, TLU over Chapman. And that 15th run scoring when Chastity Rains came around and then looked up and saw 16 on the scoreboard and 12 in the run column for the third, but did the recount. Didn't think that I missed one, and I didn't. They've got it corrected on the board now, 15-0. Chastity Rains is fast, but can't score 2 runs on 1 plate appearance. So the Bulldogs firmly in control as we head to the bottom of the third here at Kruse Stadium. A 15-0 lead over Chapman University. Game 2 of the best-of-5 regional series. And TLU trying to sweep it 3 games to zip after the 9-1 win last night. If they could take a 2-0 lead, hold on to this 15-0 cushion. Game 3 immediately following. Doubleheader scheduled today. Chapman trying to find some way to win 1 game today and force Sunday softball here in Seguin. The Bulldogs want nothing of the sort. Their goal, get out of here in 3. Move on to the Super Regional against Belhaven next week. The Blazers, champions of the American Southwest Conference. To their credit, surviving a tough conference, having to beat nationally ranked Mary Hardin Baylor and East Texas Baptist to win their conference title. Had to beat East Texas Baptist again in the Marshall, Texas Regional and beat a really good Linfield team 5-3 in that regional championship earlier today. So they're waiting on the winner of this regional in the Super Regional round. Bottom of the third, and Chapman down 15-0, just now beginning its 2nd trip through the lineup. Ali Taji to lead things off here in the bottom half of the third. And her team down 15-0. Taji popped up to the center fielder Chastity Rains the last time she was up. Sydney Willette feels like she hadn't been out there forever, and that's because the top of the third took up quite a bit of time. 16 TLU hitters came to the plate as part of that 11-run third inning. And so Ali Taji, unless there's a pinch hitter for her, should be the first player up here in the top of the third. And there will be someone pinch hitting for Ali Taji. Samantha Kennedy is at the plate for Chapman to lead off the bottom of the third. Not Taji. And the freshman Kennedy, a 2nd-team all-conference selection, watches ball 1 go by from Sydney Willette. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Inside corner, 1 ball, 1 strike for Kennedy. So Samantha Kennedy, the freshman from Foster City, California, went to Aragon High School. The 2nd batter to occupy the leadoff spot today for Taji. This pitch hits her, and she heads down to first. So the leadoff player aboard for Chapman in the bottom of the third. They have an uphill climb, looking at a 15-0 deficit in Game 2 of the regional series. Miranda Murphy to the plate next. Murphy, the single back in the first. Willette throws home. Strike delivered on the outside corner, and the count is 0-1 for Miranda Murphy. From San Diego, the freshman, a left-handed hitter going against the right-hander Sydney Willette. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. That's line past Willette, makes it into center field for a base hit. Had her glove out there, but it found the air underneath the glove and past the diving effort of Casey Martin and all the way out to Chastity Rains. So the first 2 reach for Chapman in the bottom of the third. Murphy with a base hit. 2 on, nobody out for the Panthers bottom half of the third. And Ileana Cerna to the plate next, unless she's going to be pinch hit for, and that will be the case. Bella Leach in place of Cerna. So Leach up for the first time. The first offering home misses low. 1 ball, no strike count for Leach. The sophomore, 5'5" from Downey, California, went to Warren High School. standing in with 2 on and nobody out in the Chapman half of the third. The 1-0 pitch, chopped left side of the infield, and the throw to third for the lead runner and the first out. Faith Hernandez to Brandolin D. Kennedy retired, and it's 1 down for Chapman after the forced play at third. Murphy goes to second. Leach on the fielder's choice, safe at first.
Now batting is pinch hitter, number 5, Jordan Stinnett.
And another pinch hitter comes on. Jordan Stinnett batting in the 4 spot, the cleanup spot, the Chapman lineup. Takes ball 1 inside, between the knees and ankles. Stinnett, the sophomore from Henderson, Nevada, went to Basic Academy. Has runners at first and second with 1 down. Pitch comes home from Willette, chops it left side of the infield. Again, charging it for Hernandez, and she can't come up with it cleanly. That base runner Murphy going second to third obstructed her vision just a little bit. Not able to field it cleanly, and everybody is safe. Murphy goes to third, Leach to second. Jordan Stinnett able to reach base. Hernandez unable to make the play, and the base is juiced with 1 down. Wade Wilson talking to the umpire with the closest angle, at least trying to plead that maybe Murphy interfered with Faith Hernandez. And now he's calling his partner out from behind home plate and the third member of the crew. So the umpiring crew discussing that last play. Murphy running second to third, if nothing else, was disruptive in Hernandez trying to field that ball. She wasn't able to make the clean catch, still in position to do so after Murphy sprinted by her. And Wade Wilson at least getting the umpiring crew to talk about it, sticking with the call, everybody's safe. Murphy standing at third, behind her Leach at second, Stinnett at first, bases loaded, 1 down, but TLU in command with a 15-0 lead at the bottom of the third. Anna Kabrisky, the scheduled batter in the 5 spot. See if a pinch hitter's on for her as Willette comes in with the first offering. And it is a new batter on, Rainey Lowers, batting in the 5 spot. She swings and misses at the first offering from Willette. The count's 0-1. Lowers, the senior from Mountain View, California, went to Mountain View High School. Swing and a miss, and the count's 0-2 for Rainey Lowers. Rainey on the season hitting 196, 4 RBIs, has an opportunity for number 5 here with Murphy standing at third, Leach behind her at second. Jordan Stinnett, the runner, at first. The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, and Lowers strikes out. 2 down for Chapman in the bottom of the third. Third strikeout for Sydney Willette. TLU in front 15-0. Chapman with the bases loaded. Morgan Lastinger will bat in the 6th spot. Right-handed hitter up for the second time. First pitch. Low and away, and the count 1 ball and no strikes for Morgan Lastinger. Last time she was up, grounded out to Brandolin D., the TLU third baseman. Sydney Willette with the 1-0 delivery, trying to locate the outside corner. Misses low, and the count's 2-0 for Morgan Lastinger. Bulldogs have broken it wide open, building a 15-0 lead. Game 2 of this regional series. Here comes the 2-0 from Sydney Willette. Check, swing, and that's a strike on the inside corner. 2-1 for Lastinger. From Yorba Linda, California, the first-year player Lastinger hitting .310 with a home run and 19 RBIs. The 2-1 pitch, outside corner, pinpoint by Sydney Willette. The count goes to 2-2 for Morgan Lastinger. Willette consulting the wristband, comes in with a 2-2, chopped right side of the infield. Casey Martin has it and makes the short flip to second for the out. Do they rule her safe? Everybody's safe. If that's the case, Murphy comes in and scores. Was not able to make that flip to Hernandez covering second in time, and it's 15-1. Leach to third. Stinnett, the runner, going first to second, and Martin tried to erase on that short little toss to Faith Hernandez, but not able to make the play. Lastinger, the fielder's choice, stands at first. Tracy Okamura batting in the 7th spot. Bases loaded with 2 down. Chapman has broken up the shutout. TLU still with a 15-1 lead. Willett comes in with a 1-0 pitch. Missed away, and the count goes to 2-0 for Tracy Okamura. She struck out the last time she was up. Strikeout victim number 2 for Sydney Willett. Willett looking for the strike zone on 2-0. Can't find it. Oh, she hits the inside corner. I spoke too soon. Looked like it was between the knees and ankles, but the count is 2-1 for Tracy Okamura. Willett with the 2-1 delivery. The ball slips out of her hands and rolls backwards, and that's going to allow Leach to come in and score. A bizarre sequence. The ball just slipping out of Willett's hands in her throwing motion, and it bounced and rolled backwards. So Leach comes in. Stinnett goes to third. Latzinger to second. It's 15-2. Okamura digs back in with a 3-ball, 1-strike count. The pitch, grounded hard, left field. That's a base hit. Here comes Stinnett. And another run scores. Chapman has pushed across 3 in this half inning. Latzinger holds up at third. Okamura with an RBI single. So Chapman's still competing and fighting despite the enormous deficit. Plated 3 here in the bottom of the third, 15-3 TLU lead. Okamura goes back to the dugout. The pinch runner comes on for her. That's Peyton Manson, the senior from Irvine, California. Went to University High School. Emily Hayes to the plate with runners at the corners and 2 down. The run rule, again, in collegiate softball is 8 runs. If you're a local listener, you follow the high school season, it's 10, but it's 8 in college. And the Bulldogs still well above that threshold with a 15-3 lead. Strike delivered by Willett to Emily Hayes, 0-1 the count. Base hit the last time she was up in the second. Has runners at first and third to work with. And TLU in front, 15-3. Here comes the pitch. Misses low. 1-ball, 1-strike count for Emily Hayes. The lead runner, Lastinger, at third. Matson running for Okamura behind her at first. The 1-1. Outside, and the count goes to 2-1 for Emily Hayes. Sydney Willett giving up 3 runs in this half inning. Some defensive problems behind her. Tip foul ball into the screen. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Trying to calm down and just induce that third out. Bulldogs still comfortably ahead and 4 runs above the run rule threshold with a 15-3 lead. Willett consulting the wristband. Looks into Sarah Metzer for the sign. The 2-2. Runners take off. That's line foul to the left side of Brandolyn D up the third base side. 2-2 again for Emily Hayes. So credit Chapman for still competing, trying to scratch out some runs after falling behind 15-0. The 2-2 pitch. Line foul past the Chapman dugout on the third base side. Again, 2 balls and 2 strikes for Emily Hayes. You're hearing me say Chapman in the bottom of the third because they are the designated home team here at Ed Kruse Stadium, TLU's home facility in Seguin. Bulldogs will be the home team in Game 3 following later tonight. Sydney Willette comes in with a 2-2 pitch. That is chopped straight ahead, taken by Metzer, the catcher, in fair territory, and the throw in time down to first. Beg your pardon, Isabella Rodriguez making that throw down to first. On for Metzer now, playing the catcher position, able to record the final out. 3 runs across for Chapman in the bottom half of the third. 3 complete. TLU in control with a 15-3 lead over Chapman University on KWED and TLUBulldogs.com.
Visit NCAA.com/game-program for an inside look at today's championship.
Top of the 4th inning at Ed Kruse Stadium. Texas Lutheran leading Chapman 15-3 in Game 2 of the best-of-5 regional series. Chapman scoring 3 runs just moments ago in the bottom half of the third to break up the shutout after the Bulldogs had jumped out to a 15-0 lead. Casey Martin to lead things off here in the top of the 4th. Martin has reached base all 3 times that she's been up. Single in the first. Reached on an error in the second. A 2-run single and run scored the last time she was up in the third. So Casey up for the 4th time tonight. And now facing Jessica Kim, the reliever, on for Jillian Kelly, the Chapman ace. Bunt poked straight up in front of the plate. Emily Hayes, the catcher, not able to make the play. She throws, but not able to throw it cleanly. Casey Martin safe. So Martin catching Chapman by surprise. First pitch, bunt, and able to reach base. Faith Hernandez up next. First pitch. Miss low. Bounced into Emily Hayes. 1 ball, no strike count. Faith struck out back in the first inning. Fly ball to the right fielder, Morgan Lastinger, the second. Reached on an error that eventually scored in the third. The 1-0 delivery, hit hard up the middle. Diving effort here by Fosselman. Makes the play at second, and the throw over to first in time. Double play. Great effort by Fosselman. The dive, the flip to Okamura, and then the throw to Brisky. At a 6-4-3 double play turned by the Chapman infield. 2 down, bases empty for TLU in the top of the 4th.
Now hitting is the first baseman, number 14, Laura Hernandez.
Laura Hernandez to the plate for the 4th time. 2 for 2 with a walk. RBI, 1 run scored. And her courtesy runner, pinch runner, Riley Futrell, scoring a run as well. Watches ball 1 go by from Jessica Kim. 1 ball, no strike count. Kim with a 1-0 delivery. That's hit up the third baseline fair. Cerna fields it. Long throw. The grab made by Britsky for the 3rd out. So TLU with no runs in the top of the 4th. They lead Chapman 15-3. Bottom of the inning coming up next. Seguin, Texas Regional of the NCAA Division III playoffs on KWED and TLUBulldogs.com.
For the Bulldogs in the 4th inning, no runs on 1 hit, no errors, nobody left on base. At this time, we proudly request that any current or former members of our armed forces please stand to be recognized. Prepare for these men and women who have given so much to serve our country. Leading off the bottom of the fourth inning is the shortstop number 8, Grace Fosselman.
Bottom of the fourth inning. Grace Fosselman to lead off for Chapman. She's 0 for 1. Texas Lutheran with a 15-3 lead over Chapman University. Game 2 of the best-of-5 regional series. First pitch from Sydney Willett. Misses low and away. 1 ball, no strike count for Grace Fosselman. Bulldogs jumping out to the 15-0 lead, scoring 11 of those runs in the third. Chapman breaking up the shutout with 3 in the third, still trying to compete, scratch their way back into this one. Fly ball center field, easy catch for Chastity Rains just behind the TLU logo. And it's 1 down, bases empty for the Panthers in the bottom of the fourth. So Fosselman retired, and she's 0 for 2. Fly balls to both Madison Johnson and Chastity Rains, right and center field, respectively. Ali Taji to the plate. And beg your pardon, it is Kennedy batting for Taji. So that pinch hitting decision, Kennedy for Taji back in the third. Chapman head coach Janet Lloyd sticking with her. Swing and a miss, and the count's 0-1 after the first offering from Sydney Willett. She comes in with the 0-1, locates the outside edge, and the count's 0-2 for Kennedy. Again, Willett consulting the wristband after a look over toward her dugout. The 0-2 pitch, chopped right back to Sydney Willett. 1 bounce, easy catch and a throw to Laura Hernandez for the 1-3 ground out. And it's 2 down in the bottom half of the fourth. Chapman with the bases empty for Miranda Murphy. Base hits in the first and the third. Runs scored in the third inning as well. And she hits with nobody on and 2 down. Willett throws home. Misses low. 1 ball, no strike count for Miranda Murphy. .338 hitter on the season. 17 runs scored. And a defensive shift on. Madison Johnson heads to center field. Chastity Rains comes in and plays just behind second base. This ball slapped out to left, and a fair ball that lands in front of a diving Kelly Jordan for a hit. So Murphy's able to handle the shift and put a single just beyond the glove of a diving Jordan. It is Kirsten Williams playing right field in place of Maddie Johnson. Bulldogs go back to their standard positions with a right-handed hitter. Leach stepping in, the base runner standing at first and 2 down. First pitch strike delivered by Sydney Willett on the outside corner, and the count's 0-1 for Leach. Reached on the fielder's choice, eventually scored on a wild pitch in the third. The 0-1 pitch, runner takes off. This is chopped up the first base line, and it rolls foul. No, that's a fair ball. It never made it into foul territory. It stopped on the line. Willett waiting on it, thinking it was going to roll foul. Murphy able to go all the way to third on that play. And Leach standing at first. Sydney Willett just certain that that ball was going to roll into foul territory, but it has to make it all the way past the line. And it died on the line. So it's first and third with 2 down after having 2 outs and the bases empty. Chapman here in the fourth. And the first pitch comes home to Jordan Stinnett. watches it go by, and the count's 1-0. Stinnett reaching on an error in the third, eventually scoring Chapman's third run. That was a 15-0 TLU lead into 15-3. That's still the score. Foul ball to the right side of first base. Up the line and made it just past the paint before it crossed the bag. 1 ball, 1 strike for Jordan Stinnett. Sidney Willett consulting the wristband, looking into Rodriguez for the sign. The throw comes home. 2-1 the count after a low miss. Lead runner Murphy standing at third, Leach behind her at first. 2 down for Chapman in the bottom of the fourth. The 2-1. Grounded hard to Casey Martin. The backhand flip after the catch to Faith Hernandez, the shortstop covering second in the force play to retire Leach for the third out. No runs, 2 hits, 1 left. 4 innings complete. Texas Lutheran with a 15-3 lead over Chapman. Game 2 in the Seguin, Texas Regional Series on KWED and TLUBulldogs.com. Top of the 5th inning, Texas Lutheran leading Chapman 15-3, and the Bulldogs on their way to taking a 2-0 series lead in the best 3 out of 5 regional here in Seguin, Texas. TLU playing at home, the designated visitor in Game 2 of the series. So we start the top of the 5th. TLU's Kirsten Williams batting in place of Bailey Hudgens. She'll pinch hit in the 6th spot. She ran for Bailey and scored back in the 3rd inning. TLU breaking it open with 11 runs in that half inning. So it's Williams at the plate. She's a left-handed hitter. She watches ball 1 miss outside from Jessica Kim. 1 ball, no strike count for Williams in the top of the 5th. The 1-0 delivery's on the way home. Outside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike for Kirsten Williams. 5'4" junior from Pearland, Dawson. She's hitting .200 this season. The 1-1, chops it right back to the circle. Short hop, but fielded cleanly by Kim. The throw not in time. The speed of Kirsten Williams. She beats out the throw for an infield single. So the leadoff player aboard for TLU in the top of the 5th. And Williams, a dangerous base runner as well. 14 of 14 on stolen base attempts this year. And here comes Isabella Rodriguez, batting in the 7th spot. Sarah Metzer and Kylie Jack have both hit in that spot in tonight's game. This pitch is tipped foul, out of play on the right side. The count's 0-1. So Rodriguez, the 3rd player to occupy the 7th spot in the lineup. Sarah Metzer was 0 for 2. Kylie Jack with an RBI double and run scored when she came up in the 3rd. And now it is Rodriguez standing in. The 0-1 pitch. The ball bounces past the catcher, Emily Hayes, and Williams is able to take off and go to second easily on the wild pitch. She stands in scoring position with nobody out. Isabella Rodriguez, 5'2" freshman from Pearland, at the plate. She has 2 hits on the year, 1 run scored. Chance to drive in a run here with something well placed, and the speedy Williams at second. Here comes the 1-1. Low and inside, the count goes to 2-1 for Rodriguez. Jessica Kim trying to work a pitch at a time. Knows that her team is down 15-3. The 2-1 popped up in the air, shallow center field. Taji shading toward right with the grab. Beg your pardon, it is not Taji. That was Kennedy making that catch out in center field. That's one away for TLU in the top of the fifth. Williams still standing at second with one down. Chastity Raines, batting right-handed, steps in for the fourth time. First pitch. Moved the hands, kept the bat away, and the pitch is on the outside corner. 0-1 the count. Base hit, run scored in the second. Reached on an error and eventually scored in the third. Later in the third, RBI single and run scored, and she has stolen 3 bases in this game. Towering fly ball, left side of the infield. Fosselman, the shortstop, fights off the sun and makes the grab for out number 2. 2 down, base runner on second for TLU in the top of the fifth. Bulldogs in front 15-3. Brandolyn D, after being pinch hit for by Olivia Prince, who singled in the third inning. D back in the lineup, and she'll hit for the third time. 0 for 1 with a walk, a run scored, and a stolen base in tonight's game. This is lined up the middle. Base hit. Williams rounding third, being waved home. She'll come in and score easily, and it's 16-3 TLU. Brandolyn D with an RBI single, driving in Williams. So the Bulldogs add on to the lead here in the top of the fifth. Back to the top of the lineup. Kelly Jordan to the plate for the 5th time. She's 2 for 3. With a walk, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs, and 2 stolen bases. Her second straight terrific game against Chapman in this regional. First pitch bouncing away from Emily Hayes, recovers it. And the runner, D, stays put at first. 1 ball, no strike count for Kelly Jordan. Kim with a 1-0 pitch. Low and away, and the count goes to 2-0. Kelly with the ground ball to Grace Fosselman for the first out back at the top of the first, but unstoppable since. RBI single, stolen base and run scored in the second. Came up twice in the third. Walked the first time, stole a base, scored. RBI single the second time she came up in that 11-run inning. And she watches this pitch go by from Kim, low and away. The count 3-0 for Kelly Jordan. Brandolyn D, the TLU runner at first with 2 down in the top of the fifth. Bulldogs with a 16-3 lead. They've tacked on another run here in this half inning. Strike on the outside corner, 3-1 for Kelly Jordan. Was Kirsten Williams with an infield single to lead off this half inning. Took second on the wild pitch and scored from second. The RBI single by D, who stands at first now. 3-1 pitch, chopper left side of the infield. Caught by Fosselman after a tough hop, and the throw in time to first. The 6-3 ground out. That'll do it for TLU in the top of the fifth. Bottom half coming up next. Bulldogs in command with a 16-3 lead over Chapman. Game 2 in the Seguin, Texas Regional, the NCAA Division III softball playoffs on KWED and TLUBulldogs.com.
NCAA Championships celebrates the Student Athlete Advisory Committee's United as One campaign. Student athlete representatives from Division 1, 2, and 3 stood together and took action by collaborating to create a logo and national unity pledge centered on bringing people together to better their campus, communities, and beyond. This initiative captures the student athlete perspective on the challenges the country continues to face and provides a platform for NCAA student athletes to talk about the importance of diversity, inclusion, and social justice, and how their voices to foster inclusive environments and athletics on their campuses and in society. The NCAA can
Sydney Willette is 3 outs away from her 10th win of the season. TLU is 3 outs away from a second straight run rule victory in the Seguin, Texas Regional. After a 9-1 win in 5 innings last night, they lead Chapman 16-3 as we start the bottom of the 5th inning. Chapman, the designated home team in Game 2 of this regional. And the first batter up to try and start the rally for Chapman is Rainey Lowers, batting in the 5 spot. We'll see who Chapman head coach Janet Lloyd goes with in the following spots. A bunch of subs in this game after they fell behind 15-0. The 1-0's on the way home from Willette, inside corner. Good looking breaking pitch. The count's 1 ball and 1 strike for Rainey Lowers. She struck out the last time she was up against Sydney Willette. Sydney with the sign from Rodriguez fires on the 1-1. Chopped foul left side of the third base line over toward the Chapman dugout. The count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Chapman's had a lot of success in Janet Lloyd's 27 seasons as head coach. This is their 13th NCAA tournament appearance. They were the national champions back in 1995. The 1-2 pitch downstairs. The count goes to 2-2 for Rainey Lowers. Leading off Chapman's half of the 5th. And a tall task. Big hill to climb with TLU up by 13 runs. Here comes the 2-2. Grounded up the first base side. Easy grab for Laura Hernandez. Couple of steps and the unassisted ground out recorded. Lowers retired and it's 1 down for Chapman in the bottom of the 5th. New batter on in the 6th spot, Summer Lake, in place of Morgan Lastinger. So Lake pinch hitting, and she's up for the first time in this game. 1 down and the base is empty. Summer Lake, the sophomore from Novato, California, went to San Marin High School. Sydney Willette throws home. Misses low and away. 1 ball, no strike count for Summer Lake. .333 batting average on the year, 3 runs scored. That .333 average, 1 hit in 3 at-bats, has not seen a ton of action this year. Getting some postseason run. Chopper right side of the infield, glove by Martin. Perfect toss to Hernandez. And Lake retired 4-3. 2 down, bases empty in the bottom of the 5th. TLU up 16-3, 1 out from taking a 2-0 series lead. And putting Chapman on the brink of elimination. Tracy Okamara to the plate next. 1 for 2 this evening. RBI single the last time she was up as part of Chapman's 3-run third. First pitch to Okamara. Between the knees and ankles and inside. 1 ball, no strike count. Sydney Willette consulting the wristband with a 1-0 delivery. That's grounded to the left side. Catch on the run by D. Long throw in time and a 5-3 ground out. And the ball game's over. Texas Lutheran is up 2-0 in the best-of-5 regional series with a 16-3 run rule win over Chapman University. The Bulldogs 1 victory away from the super regional round of the NCAA Division III softball playoffs. Consecutive run rule wins in the Seguin, Texas Regional over Chapman, 9-1 last night, 16-3 here in Game 2, and Game 3 to follow a little bit later this evening. We're going to take a break right now, come back and look at some of the final numbers from this game. But the Bulldogs are 40-4. Chapman drops to 28-13. TLU's winning streak is 23 games, and they're 1 win from advancing to super regional play. Be back in just a moment. The final again, TLU beats Chapman 16-3 in 5 innings. The Seguin, Texas Regional, the NCAA Division III softball playoffs on KWED and TLUBulldogs.com.